Okay, guys, I've finished the front mud flap. I did a couple other things to it. Let me show you guys. So I made an aluminum plate there, guys. That is hard to see with that damn bar there. So I did curve it, and I got all button head screws in it. It looks a little better like that because it looks like I just didn't drill holes through that plastic trim. And I made that outside piece of chromed aluminum, with polished aluminum. I made that. It looks like more effort went into it, so it's more detailed, and it's always better to do that. That way, it looks like you just didn't drill holes through this just to put a mud flap on. You actually had a custom piece of metal made for it. Plus it's polished and there's all button head screws involved, so it looks a little bit better. Guys, I'll tell you what, man, I hurt my back somehow. I think I pulled the lower muscle on the left side of my back. It is killing me. I actually have a subscription to Icy Hot. I'm going to get a tube of Icy Hot once a month. I have a subscription to it. That's how bad my back is. I'm actually, for the first time, starting to feel my age. With that tank divider I want to make, I have been looking at a lot of designs. I want to make it really nice. I just don't want to make a piece of leather with like an over and under lacing. I want to have braiding on both sides, and I either want to incorporate like maybe a turquoise Indian feather into it, or a maybe like a dream catcher with a piece of turquoise in it, maybe something like that instead of a skull. Skulls are cool, but I'll tell you one thing wrong with a skull that I don't like is when somebody dies in your family and you have like maybe like the coffin backpacks or skulls. You don't want to see none of that. You don't want to see none of that crap laying around. So that's why stuff like skulls are bad, satanic stars, all that stuff it's just bad. Because like I said, if maybe one of your pets die or a family member passes away, and you have that stuff on your bike, it's you're not going to want to see that on your bike, not for a while. So it's still a little cold outside. I think it's like 45, maybe 48 degrees right now, but it's still cold. I don't know. Maybe I'll go for some kind of a ride tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. This is Thursday right now. That piece of aluminum I made on that guy, that took me, I'd say that probably took me about 3 hours to make that. So let me show you guys it again. See if I can. See if you can see my. Yeah, here I am, guys. Guys, you can't see me. So yeah, that come out pretty good, guys. And like I said, it is bent. I had to bend it a little bit. What I did is I heated it up with a torch, and I bent it over a piece of wood. This one here is a lot simpler. And these are solid too, guys. This boy's solid, man. The heck is wrong with the focus, guys? Here we go. So that's the automatic focus. Motorcycles are neat, ain't they, guys? We were looking at homes up in St. Mary's, PA. You know, this place around here, guys, it's just a piece of crap, man. It's a piece of crap around Pittsburgh. Every road around here is under construction. Every single road is under construction. They do this every year. I swear the mafia. I swear the mafia has some kind of a pool with the Pennsylvania Road Department. Because what happens every year in Allegheny County, as soon as there's a hint of spring coming, they start construction on the roads, and nothing changes here. It's still the same old crap. Nothing changes. You should see the ride in my Jeep Rubicon over these roads around here. It's like that's what it's literally like it's rock crawling all the time. Because what they're doing is every single road, including my street here, is going to eventually get dug up to replace the water lines with plastic water lines. They're digging every single water line up in Allegheny County, and they're replacing it with plastic. Because a bunch of mothers got together and they claim there's lead poisoning their children in the pipes. Meanwhile, they go outside and they breathe the pollution in, right? That's okay. That's okay. All you got to do, if you have copper pipes in your house that are welded together with lead, all you have to do, first of all, the lead sold today to weld copper pipes isn't like the lead they used to sell back in the 50s. It's some kind of a different mixture. But even if you have old pipes, all you have to do is get I think it's called a reverse osmosis or something like that. It's some kind of name. It's like a reverse. I was looking at one of these reverse osmosis. But anyway, all you got to get is water filters. If you get like a whole house water filter and put it into your main line, get a good one, that'll filter out all that. It'll get rid of all that to where your water is actually better. Your tap water will be better than bottled water with the filters. The only bad thing with that kind of system is the filters. You got to keep on changing. Some of them are good for like 6 months. It all depends on if the more you pay, the better system you get, and the longer the filters will last. You know, if you pay like $800 to $1,000, you're going to get a good filter system where the filters are huge, and you'll have to change them once every 6 months. That's the only downfall with something like that. That, you know, you have to change the filters. Or if you get an under the sink one, you got to change the filters with that too. They're about once every month. You got to change the filters if you get an under the sink hickey. Or you can even get a portable water filter that just goes on a countertop. And I think those also have filters in them too. You have to change those every so many gallons. But you can get a real good you can get a real good countertop water filter for around $100, maybe 80, 90, $100. But that's what's going on around here. Every road's getting ripped up. You know, and if it isn't that, they're ripping the road off, or they're blocking a lane off, or something else. There's two main pathways for me to get home from work, and they're both under construction. And guys, you should see the traffic. It's unbelievable. It's like everybody got to take their crossover to work. That's all you see. SUV, crossover after SUV after crossover after SUV. Literally, that's all you see around here. And it's one person in each one of them. And they're all in a big rush. These people, they are unhinged around here. They are totally unhinged. And I'm sure it's like that all over the place, just not around here. Like that everywhere. This is why I want to move out to Tynesta or a place like St. Mary's. That's why I want to move out there. Because I see it getting a lot worse, guys. It's going to get a lot worse, man. I told you guys before, okay? Now I want you to shut up and pay attention. All right? Shut your mouth and pay attention right now. I told you before what's going to happen. All these people, all these young kids that are living off their moms and dads right now, they're not giving them nothing for rent. They ain't giving them nothing for rent or for food. When their mothers and fathers pass away, they're going to be surprised on what they got to pay, and they're not going to like it none. They ain't going to be able to. They are not going to want to pay for mandatory garbage, school tax, property tax, county tax. They're not going to want to pay none of that. They're going to want to pay for their cell phone bill, but they ain't going to want to pay for no property tax, Daddy. They ain't going to have none of that. So they're not going to have their mothers and fathers to support them anymore, and they're going to go down. They're going to eat dust. That's what's happening. They're going to eat dust. And what's going to happen is you're going to see more crime in America than you can imagine. That's what's going to happen. America is going to be horrible. The crime, you think there's crime now in America. Imagine the crime in America becoming 5,000 times worse. That's what's going to happen. I'd say in about 50 years, this is going to take place. You see, Back in the 60s, when there was a mandatory military draft, that gave people respect. The armed forces taught people respect. They taught guys to have respect. They stopped the military draft. I think Nixon stopped it, if I'm not mistaken. I think Richard Milhouse Nixon is the one that discontinued the military draft. And that's when it all started. That's when Americans started becoming disrespectful to each other. They lost respect for each other. Back when the military draft was canceled. But too late now. You can't. Don't think for 1 minute, oh, well, Trump might bring the military draft back. He should, but I can tell you right now, it ain't going to work. Okay? You're going to have a wide, hey, baby. Hey, boy, you're going to have widespread riots, daddy, if that happens. It ain't going to work. Okay? 50 years ago, we're talking about 50 years ago is when the military draft was canceled. In order for this country to turn around, it'll take another 50 years. And that's if they bring the military draft back and they start putting respect in people's heads. So you know what's going to, can you imagine what will happen if Trump mandates military draft? Can you imagine? I'm talking about military draft for men and women, like they do in Israel. In Israel, both guys and girls are mandatory to do 4 years of military service. If they do that here in America, once you turn 18, you're mandated to go in the military, whether you're a man or whether you're a male or female. You have to do, let's say, minimum of 2 years, okay? 2 years, we'll give them that, 2 years. Can you imagine? You know what will happen? Riots, brother. Off the chain, unhinged riots. You're going to hear all these moms, all these soccer moms crying, oh, my son isn't going to get killed for America. He ain't going to get killed for America. You're going to hear all these soccer moms screaming, you ain't taking my son. They're the same ones. They're the same ones that fly the flag. The same ones. They're the same ones that have these great big 4-door pickup trucks. And they have a big flag in the back of the bed. The flag's about 25 feet up in the air. The flag's like 15 by 25 foot flag. They paid probably about $800 just for the flag itself. And you see them going down the road, this thing, waving. They're the same ones. Man, I tell you, I cracked myself up. Anyway, guys, yeah, that piece of aluminum, that makes that look a little bit better. Instead of just drilling holes into that piece of plastic, I put some effort into making that piece of aluminum with the button head screws. That's what it looks like. I put effort into it. So I'll see what I can do tomorrow, guys. It's still a little cold to go out on the Harley. I might go out on the e-bike, make some kind of video on the e-bike. I'll see. If it doesn't rain, the weather here is horrible. It's horrible. We've had 6 months of winter weather. 6 months. It's still cold outside. I think tomorrow morning it's supposed to rain, so I don't know what I'll be doing. I guess we'll see.